You're listening to Burn Rate and Bullshit, the show where founders, suits, and corporate clowns all get called the fuck out. We're Josh Robinson and Mike Nathan, entrepreneurs turned VCs. With zero filters, strong opinions, and a bullshit detector set to high. Welcome to the only business podcast that actually tells it like it is.
I'm a desperate man. Send lawyers, guns, and money. This shit has hit the fan.
Now, it usually means that corporate graveyard. Somebody gets a big check, then the product gets sunset, and the team scatters. Let's talk about why most M&A still stands for massacre and afterthought. Ever see a founder suddenly go quiet after an amazing exit? Probably because the new master is already gutting his team, killing the brand, and rewriting the playbook. Let's break down these glossy press releases and see what really gets buried. Obviously, when you sell a company, you are super jazzed as the sellers. Have you ever been a part of anything that when you sold that you regretted it? From what perspective? Well, from the seller's perspective. So you go through all of the work, you bust your ass for 2 to 5 years, you come to an exit, and that is definitely not an automatic win. It's not a definite automatic high five. Hey, we did it. Rest in peace, everybody, because I'm out. There's a lot of stuff that's hidden. The other scenario is they just grab it and, as one example, they bankrupt it and just assume some of the assets of it. And there's a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. So exit doesn't mean success, right? Not necessarily. So my view on this may be a little different than maybe some people's, in that I've not become emotionally attached to any company that checks out. Yeah, that checks out. I mean, that's on brand. And so built some of them. Yeah, you're familiar. So an exit for me has almost, universally been just the nuts and bolts business financial piece of it. And so whether the buyer buries it, bankrupts it, like you said, or, makes it a core part of the NewCo entity, I've been indifferent to really whatever the hell they did. I don't care. Did I get paid? Is the question that I most look at, right? Yes. They want to be a part of it still. As you were saying how dispassionate you were about it, the only thing I was running through my mind was, who the fuck is this guy? Any founder who's selling that company is staying up late. First thing they think about in the morning, last thing they think about when they go to bed, when you're last sort of bits when you're exiting that company, it's anything but dispassion. That's what sort of you just hit on. It's their baby, right? My company's worth 5 times what you're willing to pay for it, or my team can do twice as much. Keep it all around the same. Here's my 10-year plan. You're going to do that, right? And as you and I both know, that's very rarely going to be the case. But I would just say, if you're a founder and you're going into that exit season, just have a therapist on standby because you're going to get squirrely. Mm-hmm. You're going to feel weird about something, and know the buyers are likely guys that talk and sound like you. They're cold-blooded. They are dispassionate about this makes sense for our IRR. And that is really good to say, actually. They're going to be thinking through that. Don't care about any subjectivity you might bring to it. Know that when you go into those initial, the beginning, middle, and end of those talks, they're going to care to some degree, but not nearly as much as you think they are. Well, maybe let's back up. What are the conditions? What are the reasons in which a founder ought to consider an exit? A strategic sale, whether it to be a financial buyer like a private equity outfit, or to another strategic, bigger person that in their same space. What are those conditions under which a founder seriously consider selling? Yeah, I think depends on, terrible answer, but it depends. Depends on their personal goals, their aspirations. If you think you're starting the next Zuckerberg, Musk billion-dollar company, your exit's going to look crazy and you're not going to be in touch with reality. If you go into it saying, you know what, if I walk out of here with a 7-figure exit, regardless if I own all of it, half of it, 2% of it, I want $1 million check or better out here. I want an 8-figure, 10 million or more. When you know that going in, know what your number is, I would first say to that. But how do you know when it's time? One, when you start to hit that number, look for the exits.
when you see market conditions changing, right? Is there any big legislative things happening? Is there a tax thing that implies? Is there regulation coming down on your widget or service? That's not a bad time to start already thinking, maybe it's time for me to leave. Or the competition. Does all the competition in your space have 3 more zeros behind their revenue number than you do? It might be time to join the team or merge with those folks if you don't have a unique selling advantage or a specific spot in the market. You should for sure be thinking about it then. There's another piece. If you're a founder and you're founder-led and you're the big deal, charismatic CEO, and you're running out of gas and you're sort of mailing it in, and for some people, I'm good for about 5 years, and then I'm ready to do something else.
You just get bored.
Ish.
Yeah.
Or you're ready to solve something else. And you should know that, and you should start preparing to make an exit for all the investors. I think because if the CEO and the founder are not committed or bought in all the way, that's a terrible spot to be in. So get the hell out of it, or start to backfill yourself. I suppose that could be the thing. But those would be some of the reasons I would be thinking about. I hit the number I was looking for. Something external in the market's going to change, or your competition looks really scary. They got more resources than you do. And the last is, I think, when you know you're not there anymore, you don't have the passion, you don't have the drive, you're kind of bored, whatever that is, you want to retire. Time to start looking for the exits. And you should always be thinking about when the right time is. You got a solid board. You and your board should be talking about that.
Well, you should be talking about,
often, quarterly, yearly, or at least have this conversation. What are the conditions in which we would, even if they're not considering it? What would they do? You can overpay for me. Put a couple of zeros behind a check. I'll leave.
Yeah.
You can have it.
The one piece I would add is, so you talked about competition. The other side of that coin potentially is growth. So if you believe you've got the right product, market product fit, and the growth strategy or the growth play that needs to be run is something you can't do on your own, and you need to partner, whether it's you don't have the right internal resources, you don't have the capital to invest in it, whatever that is, you may want that to be a reason why you sell. For most of those reasons, though, and why I asked that question initially, Mike, of like, okay, what are the conditions in which a founder would be interested in selling? Most of those reasons, why the fuck do they care what happens to the company after they sell? They got their number. They were done. They're ready to check out. All of those things. Like, why would you care what they do with the company?
But they do, though.
But they do. It's exactly right. We always joke, like,
you think you should vote in your best interest. You should floss. There's a lot of things you should be doing. And you should, I hit my number, I'm out. I'm cool. I'll be the easiest, most reasonable person to deal with. I'm good. Never play. And even on their side, too, on the buyer side, too. They're not always like, I hit the number, let's buy these guys. Yep, this all looks good. They'll just, the clutch.
Wherever the founder doesn't fuck up a deal, the attorneys will. That's been my
That is exactly right. That's 100%
So with all of that, why does anyone care? And where I've seen it is a good example. So like really big scale, what's happening in this space right now. You've got a lot of mega cap companies doing acquisitions, and not so much.
When you say mega cap, are you thinking like $1 billion, north of $1 billion, tens of billions?
Yeah, like think of like Apple, Google, Meta, and there's smaller players doing this too. But I think I see a lot of this have coming out of the prior administration and their apprehension to approve a lot of merger and acquisition deals. Yeah. Current administration's been a little bit more lenient with that space. Yeah.
Obviously.
We'll edit that out.
But you're right. The Biden administration was, and I think, this is where, progressives and conservatives kind of, they have a clear distinction or a clear difference of opinions on, we don't want really, really big tech, healthcare, AI maybe. That makes them nervous. And the conservative or the Republican Party, I think that's the answer. When we have a Google, when we have an Apple, we have SpaceX, all those people here, That's a national good. Not a bad.
Well, so how that's played out in the acquisition space, at least, in these larger scale companies, is you've got them buying just short of 50%, like 49% of the company.
Right. Yep.
So they fly under the radar, the FTC. They don't have to get approval for the deal because they're not actually acquiring it. But they're buying enough of it that they have effectively control over the organization.
Right.
So they get exclusive licensing rights to whatever the product is. Tell them, hey, you can still sell it to whoever you want. And then what they do, this is in the footnotes, and they find out after the fact, is they steal the founders. And so Google did this with Windsurf.
Sure.
Apple's done this. I think Meta did it with Scale AI, where they take like 49% of the company, they get exclusive licensing to the product, and then they take the founder team and pay them $100 million.
Put them in an internal department under their thing.
Under Meta, under Google, under Apple, and the rest of the team at this company is left looking around like, what the fuck just happened?
And the investors too. I mean,
the investors are totally getting fucked in these deals.
Founders are doing great.
Founders are doing fantastic because they hit their number. They were checked out. All the things we said of why you would sell, they checked all those boxes. They got a big paycheck, and now they're working at Meta, reporting to Zuck. Everyone else is left holding the bag.
Call me old-fashioned, but don't you want to kick somebody like that in the nuts if that founder does that to you?
Well,
Decides
that's
to
what's
sign up
happening, yeah.
That is, again, might be old-fashioned. I don't know. Don't you bring with the people who brought you to the dance? I mean, don't you leave with them?
You wouldn't do a deal like that.
But you're right. It's happening more and more. It's legal because it's very ethical, but you're clean in a lot of the regards. I don't think that's the way I want to make a living or have a win. No way. Would you do that? You wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that.
I know. You know you wouldn't. See, this is what
I would negotiate a deal around that, but I would want to make sure.
Of course.
No,
Keep it open.
No. Well, to be clear, so I would sell something less than the whole company.
Yep.
With an exclusive licensing agreement for a big payout.
All that sounds amazing, but
I wouldn't fuck over the cap table.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to win.
Yeah. That would be my condition.
Yeah, and if you just buy some, I mean, what are they doing? They're getting that company, that asset, that talent at a discount. I'm paying 49% of it, not 50% of it. Oh boy, I hope that doesn't happen.
I'm not aware of that happening on a smaller scale, but I mean, you see it in the headlines. There's a couple, 1-2 of them every week, especially around the AI space, that they're not buying the whole thing because they want to fly under the radar.
Is that a hedge? Are they just de-risking it for themselves? Like, I don't want to spend.
Well, that's another reason to do it. Yeah,
I don't want to spend $2 billion, but I spend $1 billion to snake everybody out of there and get the deal done. Don't those investors though in the acquired company freak the fuck out? It's like, well, let's go sue the piss out of these guys because that's likely in those companies real money, especially if these mega caps are going after them. They probably sunk in real money. There might be a lot of professional money in there too. So it's a bold move. Bold move.
I think some of the examples I know, and the ones I just rattled off, they were all, Series B, C, D. They were pretty deep in their fundraising journey. So they had professional money. It wasn't just mom, dad, and friends.
Which, but it's actually, frankly, it'd be easier for me if it was professional money that got fucked over, or should have known what was going on. To me, when mom, dad, and your friends and your best buddy from high school or college is done this thing, you gotta. For me, I think for a lot of people, they would view that. I know for you too. That's a different ballgame. There's a loyalty there and a commitment to the bit.
Yeah,
you're just not going to give up on those.
I want to switch gears a little bit. I know you've got a personal experience from exiting. You sold a company to a big, multi-billion-dollar entity. You got pulled in. You were VP of Special Projects or some made-up title.
Senior.
Yeah.
Vice President.
And ultimately was asked, to explore other opportunities. Yeah. But go through that because
we were. This was at another healthcare delivery company.
Yeah.
We were strategically invested into from a multi-billion-dollar insurance provider, and they
bought out the whole cap table, right?
Yep.
The 100%.
Everybody, good deal. Everybody won. It was under 3 years. It was great value from like couple of shucks to like north of 20 in like 2 years. So the valuation went very, very, very quick. So they came in, they bought us out, and then still hanging on. I was still technically the CEO. And the funny thing is about when you got startup cowboy guy and he goes up to the, to the board and says, hey,
Meaning you.
Me, as in one example. And you say, hey, I need $45 million to go across the entire country with the same model. Like, yeah, not as interested in that vision. We had a different vision. So we'll talk with you after this. We'll get on the same page with everything. And quietly about...
So you pitched the board on that?
Yeah.
You did.
Wow. And so, we had, good Lord, at this company. So when one board cycle, ended, the next one began the next week. So we were preparing a deck for the board legitimately 3 months in advance, which is a little bit different in our startup.
Yeah.
We were doing pitch decks in the middle of the parking lot before we walked in to talk to the client. Now we're doing it 3 months in advance to everybody to have to put their hands on it. So what was I saying about me? No,
how was any of it still relevant by the time it got to the? That's not the point.
They're multi-billion. They're an aircraft carrier that takes them for fucking ever to turn the ship.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'm in a little dinghy, right? I'm swooping all over. So you go and you ask for these guys. Say, hey, here's
I'm the captain. Now.
I'm the captain now. I'm assuming they liked their success, wanted us to repeat it. We would be one of their for-profit entities, and this is what they wanted us to do. The assumption I made. You know what they say about assumptions. So I pitched them on. They're like, yeah, no. Politely turned me down. I said, we'll get you some feedback after the board meeting. So the feedback was, hey, Mike, meet me for drinks. We started a national search for a CEO. And you're out of here. And it's in a good, as good as they were, no regrets with this company. But they killed you with kindness. Great idea. Loved everything about it. We're not doing any of the things you said. In fact, we're going to go to the opposite way. But here's a check. We're going to treat you real nice. How do you want to go out? It's on your terms. You tell us, buddy. They just killed you with kindness. So I don't begrudge them at all. But it is when you're the little guy and you get subsumed by that, I'm thinking my big world vision is now going to come to fruition. I've got their capital, my guts. Let's go.
With that hindsight, would you have done anything in that deal differently? Had you known it ahead of time?
I just was so hopeful of this merger, this acquisition was going to be sort of another propellant to, hey, I'll run $1 billion company soon.
Yeah.
Because we'll go everywhere. And they're like, yeah, slow down, Jude. You're
not a $1 billion CEO, Mike.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
So you went to done it differently. What would you have done differently on the deal-making side of it to have had better clarity on what their intentions were versus what you had assumed?
So I would have, great question.
You know what I mean?
Great question. I thought about this a lot after the thing was done. And I will tell you this, knowing what I know now, I know that is kept in their vault alone. Meaning if you're on the buying side of the table, they will never tell, sorry, I'm screwing this up. On the seller side of the table, you want so much information, they just hold it. The buyers keep it from you. And frankly, and in both scenarios, I didn't care. If you're buying my company, you're buying my company. Once it's yours, you can do with it whatever you want, sort of. But the first go around, was very interested in sticking along and funny. I'm one of those suckers that believe in the mission. I wanted to bring more accessible healthcare to more people and hoping we were going to do it. It just didn't come to realize. So I could have probed and I could have asked really smart questions or done different tactics or somehow contractually guarantee, I had an employment agreement, but I don't think I would have changed much because at the end of the day, I don't think it mattered. And they weren't going to tell me before. And clearly even after they acquired, they didn't give a shit about my opinion then either. Yeah. So I think it's the Godfather. This is the life we've chosen, Michael. This is the life we've chosen. We're entrepreneurs. If you want to have your cake and eat it too, good luck. Be blessed that you walked out with an exit and made money on it. How many don't? Plenty don't.
Well, most.
Well, how many times do we look at on the other side of mergers and acquisitions? How many times do you sell and there was a cram down? It was a down round buyout, or whatever, it was below last market value. And people get screwed.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people get screwed.
I don't think you're right. I don't think most buyers are going to be out front with it. Hey, we're going to shut this down. We're going to carve out this 2/3 and only keep this other third for a lot of reasons. And I don't think it's necessarily malicious or nefarious. Well, oftentimes they don't fully understand yet.
Right.
They know that they see something that they want or they feel like they need, but they don't fully understand how it's going to look when it's integrated. And as they start to do that integration work, it becomes clear to them, oh, we need to lop something off or we need to pivot, whatever it is. So a lot of it's because they don't know. To the extent that they do know that they're going to do something, if they think it's going to be at odds with where your vision's at, they're not compelled to share that with you at the time of the deal. And that's not necessarily unethical. It's just, to your point, if you're buying my company, you can do whatever the hell you want with it. And when you said that, it made me think of something. And be curious on your reaction to this. If you as a founder can't say that to yourself at the time of the deal, then you shouldn't do the deal. You agree with that?
Yes.
You can't say out loud, hey, you're buying my company, you can do whatever you want with it. You can't say that and mean that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not time for you to sell.
Yeah.
Personally, at least.
Yeah.
Company-wise, financially, you may have to, but personally, you may not be ready for it.
Couldn't agree more. Again, this is the life we've chosen. If you're going to sell your company, you've already sort of declared yourself for Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. I am exiting the company. Slightly different commitment. But when you do that, you have to know that comes with a whole bunch of uncertainty, unknowns. You're not going to have everything. So I would, if you get into this racket as a founder or a CEO, mentally, I suppose, prepare yourself for this moment.
Mm-hmm.
When you decide to sell, then you're selling. And if there's life after that, amazing. If there's not, you're going to go do something else or not. But I completely agree with what you're saying. If you're not, the only conditions I would put in there, and I think these are reasonable, and anybody buying you, are they're going to lean into it, it's just, hey, when you buy my company, don't fire all my people. Pretty please with sugar on top. Even though you still have to be sort of okay with that happening, but you can ask, pretty please with sugar on top, can you keep some of these folks around or find them another spot? And, the Borg, assimilate them somewhere else in your starship.
Well, most companies will say, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We're always looking for great talent.
Yeah.
You just have to reapply.
Doesn't
feel like you're going to do that a lot. But yeah, that would, to me, that would be one of the holdouts is, are you, with an acquisition, you typically are taking care of your cap table. People that gave you money, people that bet on you, time, sweat, energy, whatever it is. But you also, there's a lot of people in your cap table or on your employment or in your employee that don't have equity. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to watch them get sandbagged immediately. And also, free advice to all founders and CEOs out there, CFOs, you're going to volunteer. You're going to still sign up for it. Yeah, I get paid, but they lose their job. You're still going to do it. Probably won't like it. There's hopefully they got a good place to land, et cetera. But it's not your obligation to take care. It's your obligation to make sure they're treated fair.
Yeah.
That they don't get, shit on the whole thing. But you don't need that. It's not a Lifetime movie. You're not going to give them a contract for 25 years and I'm going to be responsible for all of your income for you and your family. That's not what I signed up to.
That's a fine line, though, because sometimes in a merger or an acquisition, as the founder, as a selling management team, your goal is to keep people from, jumping ship. Hey, we want to keep everyone here. Sometimes even knowing that they're going to get fired down the road, but for the first 6 months, we got to keep everyone here or else it falls apart. Or you want to keep them there because you do really believe that they've got a long-term role. And so a lot of times I think people are going to think what you're thinking, like, well, he got paid. He's not going to fucking care about me. I got to go find my own thing. So people are jumping ship all the time.
That's right.
It's a weird thing to try to balance all that.
I think you hit it. It depends on the acquiring company's viewpoint. If you're a strategic asset that they just bought, they likely will love everything about you, what you're doing. They don't want anybody to leave, including maybe even the CEO and the founder. Mm-hmm. Stay here, please. I bought you for your capacity, your talents, everything. Nobody move. Pretty please with sugar on top. Mm-hmm. And
That does happen, by the way.
That absolutely does happen. And I've had both experiences. I've never had they bought us, we're laying everybody out. They bought us, there's some layoffs, bought us, we need to hire 5 more people for the thing. Mm-hmm. So it's a mixed bag. It depends on where you fit in the bigger picture for that other company. It could be, I just wanted your IP. I wanted your code. You guys are going to piss off after.
So I'm going to put 49% into your company.
I'm going to put 49%, exactly.
Yeah, honestly, that's what's happening there, right?
Yeah.
They're buying the IP.
And so there's other, like, no, I like your core capacity. I don't have anything in the Midwest.
Yep.
Don't let anybody in the Midwest go. We're great on the East Coast, out West, South, whatever it is. I need to reach in. So then that's almost job security. They just paid, umpteen $1 million for your business. They don't want to piss that money away. Keep everybody tied to the mast.
I feel like we've been begging on exits or M&A and sharing some negative examples. Is there, whether one that you were a part of or one that you've seen or heard of, just a slam dunk, home run, huge success all the way around? Or does even the most successful M&A play have a little bit of mud on the tires?
Boy, that's perspective and attitude. If your goal was to sell and you sold it,
home run. Yeah.
You've
even if everyone gets fired?
Yeah. I mean well, damn it, maybe not.
I was gonna say, you're sounding like me now.
Well, right. Here's what I want to say. I don't think you can do an exit so cleanly where the buyer's super happy, the seller's exactly right, all your vendors, all your employees, everybody's like, oh,
there's not a deal where everyone walks away.
Yeah, it's a classic compromise, right? If everyone's a little kind of rubbed raw with it, probably a good deal all around. So I'll just say this: I've not been a part of any acquisition that has been just picture perfect, idyllic for the buyer, the seller, employees, and vendors. Everybody involved. It doesn't exist.
That would be my punchline for this episode for founders: is that doesn't exist. Quit fucking deluding yourself into thinking that it could, and be ready for that. Someone's going to be disappointed. And I'm reminded of a deal we did where we were negotiating it, and you and I walked away thinking, oh my God, like, they got to think that they're getting just a hell of a deal. And we think we're getting a hell of it. Like, everyone thinks that the other party's just a fucking moron.
Yes.
That must be a good deal.
Must be good if we both are like, what a sucker.
Yeah.
We'll probably
if everyone thinks the other one at the table's a sucker, you're probably in a good deal.
or big red flag, one of the two.
One of the two. Well, it turns out that was red flag.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, my point in this is there's not a deal out there that every single party walks away feeling like it was just a massive home run success.
So think about it this way, too. There's sort of a yin and yang here around how often do we say, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, at least I say this enough, start messy. Start messy. You don't have to be perfect.
I don't say that. I don't say that.
Right. Which is why I more say start messy. Don't wait for perfection. Just fucking go. Take action. Have a plan. Have a way to make money. Make sure it's profitable, not perfect. Go. When you start that, and most founders start that way, by the way.
Yeah.
The ones who were...
Whether they want to or not.
Whether they want to or not.
Yeah.
The people who actually get going, they're not the people like, well, I want to do 5 more months of analysis and talk to another attorney and, do some interviews with some other subject matter. I mean, those fucking people don't actually start anything. People that start messy, here's the PSA. It's going to end messy.
Uh-huh.
In a small startup, co-founded, led, I'm saying you're less than $100 million in revenue. It's likely going to end messy like that. And not all bad. It's kind of like how you started. Mm-hmm. You fucked it up a little bit, but it wasn't terrible. It worked. Mm-hmm. You got your most of your people are retained. You got the check size you wanted. That, I think, is your
cap table's taken care of.
Cap table say the old adage: reasonable people get reasonable things when they have reasonable asks. You stay reasonable in all of this, you're going to get there.
Yep.
Same with the buyer too.
I like that. You said that better. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be messy. Be ready for that. That's just how this is going to end.
Yes. 100%.
Yep.
Unless you're really sophisticated, and keep lawyers the fuck out of the room because they'll fuck up any deal you. We'll turn this. It'll be our paper. We'll turn it back to you. And by the way, another PSA: anybody selling?
Who's gonna take the pen on this?
Oh my God! Punch them in the face every time. When they say they're going to get this turned around quickly, that means 2 to 3 days. That doesn't mean like you're thinking.
And 100 billable hours.
You're thinking this afternoon. They're thinking before the weekend, right?
And it's Monday
at
11
And
a.m.
it's Monday, right? And that's something I didn't deal with very well. I had a different expectation on a lot of that. Never met. So that's another pro tip, if you will. Pro tip, you're going to pull all of your fucking hair out waiting for attorneys to turn it around.
I think we should do a whole episode.
Can't you do it
on
fast,
attorneys.
cheap, and perfect? I got AI right here, bro. I can do that. He's $20 a month. You're $1,000 fucking dollars an hour. Don't threaten you with a good time.
I think that's
Okay.
Yep. That's it for this round of Burn Rain bullshit.
Where the only thing we sugarcoat is our coffee.
If you like what you heard, great. If you didn't, even better. We're not here to make friends.
Hit subscribe, share with someone you think needs a reality check, and remember, cash burns fast, but bullshit burns faster. So don't get caught holding the match.
Next time on Burn Rain Bullshit, hybrid is dead and corporate America is dragging you back to beige cubicles in the name of culture. We're ripping apart return to office power plays, stealth layoffs, and what it really means if you actually have options.